I never believed one desperate knock in the middle of a storm could change the rest of my life. That night, I thought I was opening my front door to bad news, but instead, I opened it to a decision that would test everything I believed about loyalty, trust, and love. Before I tell you what happened, take a second to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with someone who enjoys emotional family stories, and let me know in the comments what you would have done if you were standing in my place. Now, let me take you back to the longest night of my life. The rain was pounding against my old farmhouse so hard it sounded like rocks hitting the windows. I had just come in from checking on one of my calves that had been acting strange all evening. My muddy boots were still sitting beside the back door, and a cold plate of dinner waited on the kitchen table because I had been too tired to eat. Then someone started banging on my front door with enough force to make my heart race. Around our small farming community, nobody visited that late unless something had gone terribly wrong. When I pulled the door open, I froze. Standing on my porch was Olivia Carter, completely soaked, shaking from the cold, clutching a thick brown folder like it was the only thing keeping her together. For a moment, I barely recognized her. Her long hair was plastered to her face, and her eyes looked like she had been crying for hours. I asked where her truck was, and she quietly told me her older brother, Mason, had taken her keys before forcing her to leave the family ranch. I stepped aside and invited her in without asking another question. Once she was inside, I handed her a towel and started boiling water for coffee while she tried to calm herself. She slowly opened the folder and spread several legal papers across my kitchen table. I did not understand most of the lawyer language, but one sentence changed everything. Her late father had added a condition to his will. If Olivia was not legally married before the end of the week, ownership of the ranch would automatically transfer to Mason. I honestly thought there had to be some mistake. Her father had always been a fair and hard-working man. Olivia explained that he made the decision during the final months of his illness because he feared Mason would sell the ranch the first chance he got. He believed a trustworthy husband would help protect his daughter until she learned to manage everything herself. Unfortunately, nobody knew about that condition until the lawyer revealed it after the funeral. Mason had already lined up developers who wanted to tear down the barns and turn the land into expensive housing. Listening to her explain everything, I realized this was not just another inheritance dispute. It was a fight to save generations of memories from disappearing forever. Then Olivia slid one folded note toward me. It was written in her father's handwriting. My name was mentioned inside. He had written that if anything happened to him, I was the one neighbor he trusted to understand what that land truly meant. Before I could even process those words, Olivia looked directly into my eyes and asked me something I never expected to hear. She wanted me to marry her before the deadline expired. She admitted she was not asking because she loved me. She was asking because I was the only person she believed would help without trying to take advantage of her. I sat there staring at the table, wondering how an ordinary Monday night had turned into the biggest decision of my entire life. I finally asked the question that had been burning inside my head. Was she using me? She looked down for several seconds before quietly answering yes, but she also admitted she had no other choice. She refused to lie just to convince me. Somehow, that painful honesty meant more than any perfect speech could have. I looked around my old kitchen, where my parents used to sit planning harvests and worrying about bills. After they passed away, I learned how lonely it felt to inherit responsibilities before being ready. I knew exactly what it was like to have people quietly waiting for you to fail. Looking at Olivia, I realized she was carrying that same weight. I walked to the back window, stared into the dark fields for a long moment, then turned around and told her I would marry her under one condition. There would never be lies between us. Whatever happened outside those walls, inside our home, we would always tell each other the truth. Tears filled her eyes as she nodded, and before the storm finally ended, we had already agreed that the next morning we would stand together in a courthouse and protect the ranch, never imagining that the fake marriage we were about to begin would slowly become the most real thing either of us had ever known.